Here we are on this Thursday at 101. We're going to bring in Julie because, Julie, you did a Flashpoint today, and I can't believe that we're saying this, but a year since Iryna Zarutska was fatally stabbed to death on the light rail. And today you spoke with Safety Committee Dante Anderson, talking about what's changed in the year and what they want to do going forward. So what was that conversation like?
Yeah, it was really interesting. I've talked to a lot of council members over the last week, talk about a marathon week, as we're kind of looking back about the progress the city has made and what still needs to be done. And that's kind of exactly what Councilmember Anderson said is, I'm proud of the work we've been able to do. There's still more to do, but this conversation is all underscored by the transition to the MPTA. Mm-hmm. So all things Blue Line was CATS and therefore council and the city prior to this, and now that is getting transitioned, that authority, over to this new authority board that is still kind of in its early phases and making its first big decisions even in the last couple of weeks about the red line, what that's going to look like. At the same time, we also had this state auditor report come out, basically calling out the city and CATS for not doing enough, particularly with fare evasion. We know that the suspect, Carlos Brown Jr., did not have a valid ticket. Mm-hmm. We also know that it's an open platform system, so you can just walk right on to the light rail without getting your ticket checked. So we talked to her about, increased CMPD officer coverage, just general visibility to make people feel safer. In October of this year, so in probably a month and a half, they're going to have a new fare enforcement team specifically to check people's tickets. That's going to be about 60 people, I believe, that will be on that task force. And so it was interesting to see, putting it all on the table, looking back over the year, but still some gaps as seen by the state auditor's office. Now they're already working to address some of those things, as I mentioned with the team, but it also asked for physical barriers to the light rail station, and Dante said what other members have said is that's not really feasible, at least for the Blue Line. Of course, that might be a discussion the MPTA has, but it would cost millions and millions of dollars to do. It's only really physically feasible at some of the stops compared to others, and so it would be, kind of lopsided maybe even if they did a few, but not others. But that being said, I think the biggest takeaway for me is she anticipates that discussion might happen when we talk about building the red line. Maybe those will be closed platform systems, especially in the pushback that we've seen since this. So that's kind of what I took away from that conversation. We discussed all things public safety in Charlotte. We've also got the curfew and predatory towing. So it's going to be a busy few months upcoming for Charlotte City Council as this is kind of leaving their wheelhouse. But it was definitely an interesting conversation just to look back on the last year.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so important to look back on this last year, too, to see what has changed and what's different. I think it's so interesting because I think the great thing about, hopping on to the light rail, especially in South End, is that it is an open platform system. And I know for me, and there's so many, FC fans that go on down there, Panthers fans, that it's easy to just pack in and you're not like waiting and having to go through this system. So when you say there's going to be about 60 people, did she elaborate that there'll be someone on this train walking up and down the whole time, or they're just kind of trying to figure it out?
No, and that's actually a number I got from CATS specifically.
Okay.
This announcement came actually as a part of the auditor's report. It had a response from new mayor Robert Harrington, and he announced it. I got some more information from CATS. She, cited that as one of the things that is upcoming that will address some of the concerns the report had. But other than 60 people, we don't have any details about what that looks like. From just talking to people on the train also, just anecdotally, they seem fine with the idea of more ticket checks. But yeah, I do think it's going to be interesting to see what that actually looks like in terms of where they'll be stationed. Will be on the train, on the platform. When are they going to do it? Time of day. Who knows?
Especially too, because like I know, I've gone to FC games or Panthers games where I've been like crammed in there where you can't move. So you're wondering like, how would anybody get through to check tickets? Because everybody's like crammed in there. So it'll definitely be interesting to see, where they go from here and what they plan on doing.
Might be interesting just to watch it work out the kinks a bit.
Exactly.
Take some time as most things do.
Absolutely. All right, Julie, thank you so much for being here.